In 2025, I walked and filmed the first 114 miles of the southwest coast path from Minehead to the Cornwall Border. Today, you're watching that journey in one long video on YouTube. Now that's actually pretty much insane because before I started any of this, I'd never shot and edited a video before, I had a pair of dodgy knees that couldn't do more than one day's walking in a row, and realistically, I'm a bloke in my 30s. I have a job and commitments. But what I did have was a supportive girlfriend who backed me when I told her what I wanted to do, had a few weekends throughout the year to travel down to the southwest, and I had that desire to learn new skills and go on an adventure that I'd remember for the rest of my life. And if you enjoy it, please like the video and subscribe to the channel because I do not plan on stopping here. I am going to walk the entire southwest coast path, and this is the only place you will be able to see it. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey. Childhood summer holidays just hit differently, don't they? Today, I look back on amazing times spent with my grandparents down in Cornwall. Together, they made the absolute dream team, which made it even more heartbreaking when they both started to develop dementia just a few years ago. My grandma's battle ended in early 2022, so in her memory, I decided to walk the southwest coast path from Land's End to Falmouth, raising money for Alzheimer's Research UK. I had the time of my life, grieving. And then in late 2024, we said goodbye to Grandad, the most charming and most gentlemanly man you'll ever meet. Grief is a funny old thing, and it makes us evaluate life itself. So I guess this is my response to that grief, walking the entirety of the southwest coast path. This is just the start. So in April 2025, it was time to get started. Setting off in the early hours, we made the journey to Somerset and arrived in Porlock Weir, catching the shuttle bus to the seaside town of Minehead. You couldn't miss the official start of the southwest coast path. This monument, a pair of hands holding a map, symbolises the start of the longest national trail in the UK. And with that first footstep, the adventure had begun. The plan was to make it to Porlock Weir, and then as the year progressed, I'd pick up the path from where I left it before, until eventually reaching the Cornwall Border 114 miles away. But for this one, it was a short 9-mile hike, climbing up the cliff west of Minehead before the steep climb back down, returning to the village of Porlock Weir. My partner Kirsty joined me for the first one. We were carrying our camping gear for an overnight stay in the village of Porlock before making our way back to our car in Porlock Weir the following morning. So that was the plan. Let's see how we got on. I'll just remind everyone of the bet.
If Jamie gets 500 followers by a year today, then I will get him a PS5.
It's a bet. My feet are muddy. You be in frame moment coming up, I reckon. No. Oh. I can barely walk. So this is where we come back to. With the first walk complete, I returned to Porlock Weir a few weeks later. This time, Kirsty stayed at home and I began what became a 100-mile solo hike all the way to Cornwall. This stretch was a 12.5-mile walk through the woodland of Exmoor National Park, passing through Lynmouth and finishing on top of the hill in Linton. So I set off in perfect conditions with no idea what was around the corner. Take a layer off, it's absolutely boiling up here. Oh wow. What a little spot. Wonder how many people have wild camped here over the years. Honestly, this is absolute paradise. Honestly, people might think I'm mad for wanting to do this, but when I'm here with that view, I'm not mad for wanting to do this, I'm mad for not doing it sooner. Need more of that. What's all that today? It's so quiet. And for the first time today, we could see where we'd be finishing. One last walk along this steep cliff edge, and as long as I avoided sudden drops like this one, I'd be in Linton in no time at all. I'm an idiot. My feet are absolutely drenched, all because I wanted to get some artistic video of the sea. It's all well and good having waterproof boots if you don't let water go over the top of them. going up to Combe Martin today, which is around 13 miles again. The first half of this walk is relatively flat, but then the second half is very up and down. But it looks like it's going to be another lovely day. This is pretty special. Just a couple of goats just chilling on the side of the cliff in the Valley of Rocks. And that was a horrible, horrible climb. I was back on the cliff top, approaching the first of two big climbs. The second is Great Hangman, which at 1,043 feet is the highest point of the entire southwest coast path. So during the May school holidays, I set myself up in the town of Ilfracombe for a few nights. The night I arrived, there was a huge storm, and by the time I'd settled into my room, I was already shattered by the long drive, and that was made a whole lot worse by the wind and rain keeping me up all night. I planned to walk 3 days in a row that week, starting with a 14-mile stretch to Woolacombe, followed by a 15-mile walk inland to the town of Braunton, before a monumental 19 relatively flat miles to the village of Appledore. But what was meant to be a happy and enjoyable week had got off to a bad start. It did pick up slightly in the morning, and there certainly were some incredible sights and moments along the way, but as you'll see, this was a week where I learnt more about my own limitations, mental as well as physical. Yeah, I'm happy to admit I was in a bad mood this morning. I wasn't really looking forward to doing this, but now I'm here. Yeah, it's fucked me up. Listen, I'm sure the town of Ilfracombe is a lovely place to visit, but for me, in the school holidays, it all just got a bit too much. In recent years, I've always tried to avoid big crowds, but this walk had taken me out of that comfort zone. In 2019, I became a police officer. I saw the very best in people through my colleagues, but you can't escape being exposed to the absolute worst parts of society. The job changes you. I don't know what's wrong with me. Policing was meant to be a career, but after 4 years I decided to leave after being diagnosed with generalised anxiety disorder. Whilst it was nice to finally understand why I'd overthink or react to situations differently to others, it could still creep up, surprise you when you least expect it. I think I have a bit of social anxiety, and he put me in a place where there's a lot of people. Sort of go hiding a little bit, so it's just nice to find a little spot for myself on the top of that cliff. Just compose myself a little bit, I guess. I know the camera won't pick this up, but it smells like you smell. These last like 4 or 5 miles have been very tough. It's so up and down. Climbing's not too bad, it's going downhill that I'm really struggling with. Do you ever have moments in your life where you sit there wondering what on earth you're doing? This might be one of those for me. I really do feel alive this morning. These are the moments I enjoy the most, like the sort of out of this world moments. I'm literally in the middle of nowhere, in the clouds. This is wild. I love it. Hands down, my favourite part of the path so far. Without a doubt. Oh, what is this? Where am I going? We're doing it. Wow, I'm so glad I'm doing this. Wait till you see this. Yeah. This is mental. That is actually mental. This is the edge of the world. Walking through the clouds and in the rain in what seemed to be in the middle of nowhere was exactly what I needed that morning. Whilst I planned on getting to Braunton that evening and resting up for a third and final walk of the week the following day, after feeling my knees starting to give me grief, and after walking what I can safely say has been the worst stretch of coast path on those gravelly tracks taking me to Braunton, I decided to call it quits for the week and head home. Ultimately, I'm doing this to enjoy myself, and for parts of that week I just wasn't, so I took some time away to reset. I looked into what was in front of me, and the long 19-mile stretch from Braunton to Appledore just wasn't appealing to me. I always knew I'd come back to it at some point, and spoiler alert, I do, but at that moment in time I decided to cut some corners. So when I returned in mid-July, I picked up the path from Appledore where I began a 16-mile hike to the scenic village of Devon. I may have just spent a little bit too long playing around with the drone. The tide's coming in. I've still got a little bit of this beach to go, so I'm on a little bit of a race against the clock here. Well, that is one of the views of the walk. I really hope the camera's picking up the noises there. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, guys, please do it now. It happened. Oh. That's the first one. But we're down. Brilliant. That could have been a lot worse. I think I got away with it other than a little scratch on my hand though, so live and learn. Oh dear. Oh dear. I'm so glad no one saw it. And I'm equally glad it wasn't on camera. Unbelievable. So after the school summer holidays, I returned to the North Devon coast to pick up the path from Clovelly and walk west along the Hartland Peninsula. This was a memorable 10 miles that would take me to Hartland Quay, just 6 miles from the Cornwall border. Gonna hold onto my camera very tight here. This place never fails to amaze me. So close to just keeping my head down and walking past this view. I have the best hobby in the world. I'm having the time of my life. I'm having the time of my life. With just 6 miles left between me and the Cornwall border, I knew the next time I returned would be my last trip of the year. So that meant I had to go back to Braunton and complete the 19 miles of coast path that I'd chosen to miss out earlier in the summer. This route would take me to Barnstaple, Instow, Bideford, before finally finishing back in Appledore. And once that was complete, the finish line would be in sight. This is unbelievable. It's nice to know I'm in that 1%. This year hasn't been an easy one, but this has given me something to focus on. And I saw something online. It was about 95% of people want to do something, 5% of people do the thing they wanted to do, but only 1% of people keep going. So if you're thinking about doing something, if you're one of the 95%ers, just do it and then keep doing it. If you love it, keep doing it. Don't give up. Pretty special. Last little bit of this mighty hike from Minehead. And we're very close to the Cornwall border. Let's go.